Hello and welcome to the Introvert Social Hour. Today we are talking about my 2025 reading recap. So some quick notes here before we really hop in. If you're new to me, hey, hi, my name is Kayvana. Two, I'm letting you know now, I'm a rom-com girly. A lot of these books are going to be rom-coms. So if you were coming in for some like really sophisticated work, not saying rom-coms aren't, but some people got beef with rom-coms for whatever reason. Most of my list is rom-coms, okay? This is for the rom-com girlies. I also have some fantasy up in there, a little bit of dystopian. I will say next year my plan is to have a little bit more of a mixture. I did read a horror book this year. I wanted to read more horror and I didn't get there. Fall was really beating me up. So the goal is to get more of that in. And then also to tie in some more nonfiction. So it's more like self-help books and stuff like that because I have them on my TBR, like physical copies, and I haven't read them. So the goal is to dive into those for surezies next year. That is the hope. That is the plan. But I just want to let you know because some people see a reading recap and they're like, ooh, and then they see rom com. I'm letting you know now, so I don't hear, oh my gosh, rom coms are books too, and they're solid literary pieces. So that's all I have to say about that. Okay, let's dive in. So I read 35 books this year. A good chunk of that was rereads, not most of it, and I don't even think not even half, but a good chunk. Usually I'm only two rereads or something like that. I did more than that, so it feels like a good chunk to me. But I did read 35 books this year. I'm specifically going to talk about the new books I read this year, and I'll drop like my favorite reread of the year, just to, like kind of give a nod to that, and then we'll go from there. Like I said, I mainly read romances and sci-fi, not sci-fis. I would love some more sci-fis, but I feel like they don't eat as much as like they did when I was like a teen and like a preteen and stuff. But more so romances and fantasy. So we're gonna talk about that. And I'm gonna break it up. And then I'm gonna talk about my DNF too. I don't DNF a lot. I try not to, but I did have to DNF two this year, which is usually unlike me because I barely DNF one. But I've I'm growing. That's what we call growth. Because I've gotten to a point where it's like, hey Kivana, you've been trying to read this book for like 3 months. You've skipped this book over and over again and finished other books and you're still on like chapter like 5 on this book. Maybe you'll let it go. And I'm like, okay, I'll let it go. So that's where we're at. But that's okay to DNF a book. Breathe. Give yourself grace. You know what I'm saying? Okay, moving in. I have no particular order for my top 10. I'm just going to give you what they are. It was really hard. I'm going to break it down into sections. So I'll give you my fantasies first. In my top 10, I have 3 fantasies. 2 were vampire books, fun fact. I love vampire books. They're coming back in, y'all. It's very much giving fetch, you know what I'm saying? 2 vampire books, and then I also had a magic book, okay? Well, all of them were actually a part of a series, different series. One book was the first of a series, and then one book was the second of a series, and one was the third of a series. So I guess kind of all matched up. No particular order. And if you know me, you probably already know which ones they are. Eternal Ruin by Tigis Germa. Black people, vampires. Black people, vampires. I love representation. As a sci-fi fantasy girly growing up, there wasn't a lot of it, you know what I'm saying? So to have like Tigazurma writing something like this for us, by us, you know what I'm saying? It's very exciting and she does it so well. Like I'm not just hyping it up because, but it's also just like a solid piece of work. Immortal Dark is book 1, Eternal Ruin was book 2, just came out in November, and the plan is for book 3 to come out next year, and it is gonna like close us out and wrap us up, and I'm very excited. I love, and I talked about this with Immortal Dark, is like Kidan is such a unhinged character. What I love about book 2 is she's still like, what's up? Like she's still got the fire in her, but she's grown really enough in such a short amount of time because it feels long for us, but it's only been a short amount of time for her, and it feels natural and it feels like it makes sense. And Kidan and Susenyos' relationship also feels like natural. Like they understand like there's a gravitational pull with each other, but they're also kind of like, and then it kind of pulls and then some stuff. Listen, I love the book, but Tigus, you took us through. You ran us around, okay? I'm not gonna spoil anything because I really want people to like read the series, but book 3, girl, girl. But yeah, go ahead and read Immortal Dark and then Eternal Ruin if you haven't. And if you're someone who's like, I just want to wait for the whole series to come out, I totally understand because I'm someone who's in the middle of many a series at this point, and I told myself I would never do that, and I regret doing that. So go ahead. At least stick to a trilogy. There's series that were supposed to be trilogies that are now 4 or 5. And rolling into it, let's go to the next one. Oathbound by Tracy Dion. So Oathbound is book 3 of the Legendborn series. It was originally supposed to be a trilogy. It's now, I think it'd be 4 books. Question mark. I would say I like the second book better, but that's just comparing like within the series. We really went into a lot of directions and we did a lot of like continuous world building and opening up and figuring out some things that we wouldn't have never guessed. I am a huge fan of Bree continuously finding her power, finding where she's meant to be. Book two left us in a bit of a pickle. And book three kind of picked us up there. We're still in a bit of a pickle. Not even gonna hold you, but I think we're in a bit of a pickle with more questions. So much that we don't even know where things are gonna go. Whereas after book two, like we knew it was chaos. We were going into chaos. Book three, it's like yes, it's chaos, but like how? You know what I'm saying? So I'm excited for whenever book four is, coming upon us. Like I said, representation. So having a black girl with superpowers, and I didn't expect the tie-ins with you know, kind of like the knights and stuff. I thought that was really fun because listen, anybody else watch Avalon High? Disney Channel? I love that. I loved all the like things like that, like King Arthur and things like that. So when I found out those were the tie-ins there with the magic and stuff, I was like, wait, sign me up. I like this. And then all the other power like shadows and things like that, like really ties in really nicely. So I'm really excited for book four. Next up on the list is my second vampire series. I actually read this one first, and this is actually the first of it. It's a duology. I love duologies. If you have any duology suggestions, please give them to me. If I can just do a little two book commitment, that's where I'm at right now in my life. So sign me up. The Scarlet Veil by Shelby Maheron. And it's a duology because this is a spin-off series from Serpent and Dove. Fun fact, I never finished the Serpent and Dove series. Book two was a struggle to get through, and I'm not just saying that. There are reviews and a book rating average that agrees with me. So because of that, it kind of messed up my flow for book three. I know book three got better, but at this point now that I've read The Scarlet Veil, probably not going back, to be quite honest with you, because it filled me in on what happened before. So I would say The Scarlet Veil is really good. As a vampire book that continues and ties in the story, I was glad I got to like revisit the characters because I really did love Serpent and Dove. I just was like really disappointed in book two. So I was glad to like revisit the characters that we had. Some characters that I probably didn't know who came in through book three, but I never felt confused. Like you can read the Scarlet Veil and not have read Serpent and Dove at all, but just kind of get like filler information. I love the main character. That she was new to me, but she was introduced in book three. But like the example, I was okay. I didn't like get lost in the sauce anywhere. So if you don't know Serpent and Dove, that ties in with witches as well. And also like religious tie-ins too. But it's a really good world continuation. But if you don't know it, it's still a world building because our eyes are getting opened up to the vampire world. It's not like a pre-existing knowledge for us in the Serpent and Dove series, that vampires do exist in this world. So I think she did a solid job of kind of like opening that world up for us here, and it felt natural. I love the male like love interest. I love I don't know. I love a good enemies to lovers or annoyings to lovers. You're just like fight for your love. You know what I'm saying? So I was really intrigued by that, and how they ended up becoming a part of each other's lives. It's a slow burn. It's not quick, and I love a good slow burn. I do. I do. Call it what you want to. Some people don't believe in slow burn. I feel like that is the most natural, to be quite honest with you. That's my personal opinion. But those are my top three in regards to fantasy. Let's go into romance. Once again, no particular order. These are just my tops. So this is my top seven for romance. So now you know, three fantasy, seven romance in my top 10. I read more romance than anything else, to be quite honest with you. Not Another Love Story by Julie Soto. Loved it. I feel like we should get more romances that throw us into other areas. I talked about this when I talked about this book on like my TikTok video. Why we gotta be in publishing? You know what I'm saying? We get it. She's a star. He's a quarterback. Like things like that. Give us something different. So when we get musicians, I'm like, okay. He plays the cello, she plays the violin. Okay, they're battling for a spot in not the choir, the band, the orchestra. There we go. So I was so excited for that. And this was an annoyance to love. I wouldn't say a hate to love, but definitely like she trying to take my spot. And so I very much like that because she was like, and is like, I don't like you anyways. You have attitude. You have a really bad attitude actually. So I loved it. I was a fan of that one. But I more specifically love that we were getting into a different world. Like give us some other places. Romances, there's a lot of romances out there. Put me somewhere else. Okay, we got a homegirl in finance, a homegirl in publishing. She's doing this and that. Give me somebody different. Okay, thank you. So I appreciated that. Speaking of differences, we have Morbidly Yours by Ivy Fairbanks. This one, he's a mortician and she actually does animation. What how do they come together? What? You know what I'm saying? And they're in Ireland. If you know me, I love pretty enough in an Irishman and I fell in love with an Englishman. Listen, I need to go to Ireland one day. I'm late. I'm late. It almost happened. I'm not gonna talk about what happened there. But I really love that for that reason because I love to be visual. So when they're explaining like being in like really pretty scenarios in Galway, like the cliffs and things like that and the grass, I'm like, oh, I see that. I envision it. It's probably like super pretty and like super quiet. But also I love like this opposites attract because weirdly enough, you get it, but you don't get it in this way. Like he's very much an introvert. He's a mortician, so like he'd be just dealing with like bodies all the time, you know what I'm saying? And she's this really extroverted person, originally from Texas, moved to Ireland after some bad stuff that happened and things like that. She's ready for some change, and um, you know, the last thing she thinks she's gonna be living next to, a funeral home. You know what I'm saying? So but they work out, they work together, and it's really cute. I liked it a lot. That was actually my most recent read as of this recording. Moving on, we have Between Lovers and Friends by Shirlene Abubi. So, Between Lovers and Friends, this one was like kind of a triangle. I don't read triangles very often. Now, yes, I did grow up in the Vampire Diaries world. Team Damon. No, shouldn't be though. Shouldn't be. I was though. I shouldn't have been Team Stephanie either. Team Elena, but she was never just gonna be by herself. Continuing forward though, I whenever I can catch like a black romance, I'm always in. Especially when it has like good ratings and stuff too. So I saw it in the Barnes Noble. I grabbed it and I was like, I gotta get it. I want to know because it's got good reviews. I like the storyline. Like I want to dig in, and it was good. Listen, for me, I want I want her to be treated right. So when it came to we jump right into the story, by the way. So when it comes to her being or falling in love or pining over somebody who's not treating her right, and she finally finds somebody who's treating her right and she's giving him a chance, yes, yes. And I love that I love a hardcore main character too. She kind of softens and opens up. And I was like, I like that. You know what I'm saying? Now, am I a hopeless romantic? Yes. But like also stay away from me. You know what I'm saying? But I really love that one. Love and Bloom by Lucy Eden. Also a main character, black female. This one, small town romance. I like that. It is the um what's the word I'm looking for? The trope of like this city girl goes into like a country town and it's all new to her and she didn't think she'd be there. And I like that. It's very much giving like Hallmark, ABC Family, Netflix, you know what I'm saying? And so I really like that one. It was really cute. The plot threw me off a bit. I don't want to do that to you because I want you to be thrown off too if you decide to read it. Love and Bloom by Lucy Eden. The what's happening in the town is not what I thought was going to be happening in the town, and I was like, okay, Lucy, I see you, Lucy. But it was for very intentional purposes. Okay, but I really did love it. I love the romance that we had there. Hmm. Also kind of like opposites attract, not too much, but like think city girl, country town boy, like you know what I'm saying? Like there's gonna be some differences there. Moving on, we have Sounds Like Love by Ashley Poston. So if you know me, I'm an Ashley Poston girl. She has not failed me not once. This is her third book, and I've loved all three of them. I will say, and I've said this before, it kind of goes 7 Year Slip, Dead Romantics, and then Sounds Like Love to me. I'm lying. This is her fourth one, Novel Love Story, but it goes in the order of release. So Novel Love Story was a third. Damn, bam. I will say I would like for her to throw me off. So for the fifth book to somehow jump to the first or second place. But it does go in order of release for me, interestingly enough. It sounds like love. When it comes to Ashley Poston books, you're tying in fantasy with romance, which sign me up. I love that. I love that. So, but it's more romance than fantasy versus like sometimes you're reading books and it's like more fantasy and then there's romance. In this case scenario, the two love interests, the two characters, they start hearing the same music and they're able to also hear each other, but they're not in the same place. So like they're talking to each other and think like they think they're losing their minds. They're talking to each other, but he's over one in one state and she's in another. So they end up finding each other and, you know, figuring things out. But he is a butthole. They have met before, fun fact. And she didn't like him. because he was a butthole, and then they go from there. So it was also kind of like annoyance to love too. So she won that for me. She hasn't done me wrong. She really hasn't. So those were my top tens, romance and fantasy mainly. But like I said, I did read other books. I have a review on Asylum Hotel on my YouTube channel. Also my TikTok. Uh, It was okay. It was okay. But I do want to read more horrors because I would love to have. I want a horror that really throws me off. You know what I'm saying? There's one book that I read in elementary school, and it was based off of Anubis. And House of Anubis, by the way, fire show on Nickelodeon, but that's not the point. It was based off Anubis. And I remember reading it and being like, oh my gosh, I'm shaking like in my boots. It was a Scholastic only book, so it's not like something you could buy now. It's not something that's like readily available for you because like only like schools could buy and stuff like that. And not, they're not really doing that much that like that no more. But I want something to shake me up. You know what I'm saying? I want to be surprised. In Asylum Hotel, I was like, okay, I wasn't really surprised. I wasn't really like, I want to be like, oh my gosh, that happened, and I didn't really feel that. So it wasn't in my tops anywhere. But I finished it though, so it wasn't a DNF. Speaking of DNFs though, I DNF'd two books this year. The two books I DNF'd were The Irresistible Urge to Fall for Your Enemy by Brigitte Knightley. I know it was a very exciting release because I knew it was a fanfic before. My friend told me about it. I tried. I couldn't get into it. I really couldn't. It very much felt like the world building, like you were expected to just know everything that was going on. Um, and it wasn't seamless to me personally, but I know there's probably a lot of people out there who really enjoyed it because of its pre-existence in another format, in another way, and then appreciated that they're like reset and refresh in this like physical copy. But I just couldn't, and I was like, it's okay. I really tried. I really tried. And then my other DNF is The Supremes at Earl's All You Can Eat. But this is by Edward Kelsey Moore. This one, I really like the movie. It's on Netflix. I highly suggest. I think it's a movie that is really slept on. It dropped in 2024, and it just wasn't talked about, but it's like a really solid movie. And nothing's wrong with the book actually. I just think it was a time period where I just wasn't ready to read it. I kept trying to hop in, falling off, trying to hop in, falling off, and I was just like, hey, Vaughn, I'll just let it go for right now. Maybe I'll come back to it, maybe I won't. But because I like the movie so much, I wanted to go to the book, and so highly suggested. It is a black film. It's not current time. It's more like I don't want to say historical because it's like not that far ago, but and I hate saying 1900s, but 1900s. So definitely check it out. I don't want to spoil anything for you there, but you can see the trailer, the synopsis for that, and maybe if you'd rather dive into the book first, let me know how that goes. I realize I didn't say I do have honorable mentions though, in regards to books that I did appreciate but didn't make it to my top 10, and those are the following. We have Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins. That movie is gonna tear me up. 2026, I'm gonna be in the theater bawling. Okay, my popcorn's gonna be soggy. Because that book, yeah, that book, yeah. We have Onyx Storm by Rebecca Yarros. That was like the third book of the oh my gosh, Fourth Wing series. I feel like it was a dip there. So I can always appreciate an author really realizing like I need some time to like sit with my creativity. So we don't know when we will get book four, but I'm okay. I want her to take her time. You know what I'm saying? The Shadow Bride, which was the second book of the Scarlet Veil, like I read through those books so fast. I'm not even kidding you. Mate by Ali Hazelwood. I like when she dips into the fantasy world. I'm not even gonna be mad at you because I like the dynamic too. That was also annoyance to love. And I think I liked the relationship dynamic, um, in Mate more than I like the relationship dynamic in Bride. Surprising, but true. And then last but not least, we have Pomona Afton Can So Solve a Murder by Bellamy Rose. Now that one, it was thriller. Not really thriller because nobody was like shank shank. Mystery. I'll just give it mystery. It was romance but also mystery. And I appreciate that. It was a very cutesy read, very short read. I liked it a lot. I got it from the Barnes& and Noble Union Square festival fair, book fair that I went to in March, and I'm way behind on all of those books, by the way. They were all arcs and like now they're existing books, but it's okay. They're all on my bookshelf and they're gonna wait for me. You know what I'm saying? But those were all of my honorable mentions there. Now, I did say I did reread some books this year. I'm gonna say my fave reread was, and I feel like this is not a surprise, The 7 Year Slip by Ashley Poston. I've now reread this book twice, so I've technically reread this book 3 times, and it doesn't get old anytime, anywhere. Lemon, Clementine. She is in publishing world. He's a chef. But then like the once again, Ashley Poston with like the fantasy aspects of things. She's seeing him in like 7 years down the line or like in the past, and he's seeing her 7 years in the future. It was the whole thing. It was the whole thing. I loved it. I loved it a lot. She did her big one with that one. I will say, actually then, I take that back because technically Dead Romantics was first, I believe. So liking the 7 year slip, that does already put us out of order. So, but I do want book five. I guess it was in order for how I read them. Yeah, it was in order for how I read them. That's what it was. But I'm excited for whatever she releases next because I'm always excited for what she drops. So please let me know, what were your favorite reads for 2025? I would love to know if you have any recommendations for me. If you have any horror recs or thriller recs, I will gladly take them. I have some on my TBR, like physical, that I need to read at some point. Maybe I should not wait until fall when life gets a little chaotic and just like start reading them whenever. I was trying to be thematic with it. I was like, come on, don't work. So I'll probably do that this time around for 2026. But let me know, what were your favorite reads? Did you DNF anything? Who are your favorite authors? Any recs there? I do have some authors that I'm like, I've tried. I let it go. But I'll gladly take anything, and then, you know, wherever it goes, wherever it goes. Make sure you get some sunshine, get some air. Have an amazing week, and I will see you on the next episode of the Introvert Social Hour. Make sure you check out the other recaps. Bye.